So greetings, brothers. My name is Jordan Barnes. Okay. And this is episode 3, which is speaking towards the next 100 years and the importance of alumni and life membership. For those who are tuning in for the first time, my name is Jordan Barnes. I'm from the IOTA chapter at Norfolk State University, and I'm the current Northeast District Historian and Alumni Liaison. For this episode, I wanted to bring in a special guest, who is dear to the Northeast District itself. This is the Northeast District Alumni Association President, Chris Pratt, and I would like for him to introduce himself a little bit for those who may not know him.
All right. Hi, everyone. My name is Chris Pratt, as Jordan had said. I'm the current president for the Northeast District Alumni Association, which serves both Kappa Psi and Tau Beta Sigma. I am a life and honorary member of the Delta Omicron chapter of Kappa Psi at the University of Connecticut, and I'm also an honorary member of the TBS Northeast District. And I want to thank you guys for having me. Thank you, Jordan.
Awesome. Thank you for coming on. So, as I said, 100 years, specifically focusing on alumni and life membership. So, one of the first questions of our discussion is, what are the various forms of membership that are past the active or undergraduate membership levels?
Sure. So all membership for alumni members is through the national organization, which we have Kappa Psi Alumni Association. And right now there are 2 levels, but that structure is actually going to be evolving based on a constitutional amendment that passed for KKPsi. Recently, there's currently just alumni membership and then life membership. Life membership being that one-time $500 cost. And then the alumni membership is $50 a year. They're adding a tier that's going to be called local alumni access. That is for folks that want to join LAAs. They want all LAA members, local alumni association members, to be also members of the national organization. So they're creating a lower cost tier for those members. And that, I believe, is going to be $15. That one would not include attendance at district conventions. If you wanted to come to district convention or national convention, you would have to come in at the alumni membership level or at the life membership level. But that won't take effect until June next year to align with KKPsi's fiscal calendar.
Awesome. That is a very cost-saving option. I presume that will bring in a lot more members now that they will have that option in next June, right?
Yeah, June 1st, 2020, I believe, is the start date for that. More information can definitely be reached from KKPsi, since that is a KKPsi initiative. For NEDA, we have our own separate dues structure too. So we offer new members the opportunity to join the Northeast District Alumni Association at $10 a year. And then for life members, we offer our membership at $35 a year, and non-life members $40 a year. And that's to support our programs as a district alumni association.
Awesome. So, speaking on those programs, what specific programs does the Northeast District Alumni Association offer, specifically to increase alumni involvement?
Sure. So every year at the Northeast District Convention, we have a keynote speech contest. So at the opening joint session, an undergraduate member is selected by a committee of readers that we have of several submissions every year. Usually we have a speech topic themed based on whatever the convention is that year. and undergraduate members are able to submit, there's what they would like to present at convention. And there's also, I think it's $125 stipend that goes to the winner for that. So it's a really good opportunity to make some money, help pay for your semester at school, what have you. And really opportunity to present yourself to the district at large. I know last year I was proud to introduce someone from my home chapter, Owen Logis, who gave one of the best speeches I've ever seen as an alumni member. I was so proud of him to see him in front of everyone at UMass last year. Also, we do ritual regalia replacement grants every year, one for KKPsi, one for TBS, every year at convention. So again, chapters will submit, hey, we really need to replace X item for our for ritual. And we'll select, one winner each from each side, KKPsi and TBS. They get $100 stipend because I know ritual supplies can be costly, especially when it comes to some specialized items. Wink, wink, nod, nod. And then on that note, I will say that the KKPsi submissions are only read by brothers. The TBS submissions are only read by sisters. Additionally, we have alumni involvement awards, big chapter communication and stuff like that. And then we also do give a lot of grants at national conventions as well, which is every 2 years. So we give we pay the cost of registration for two participants, one from KKPsi, one for TBS, just for attending convention. Same thing. We'll put out an essay topic, pick a winner on both sides, and also NIB participation. We put on 1 and 1 for KKPsi, one for TBS. This past year, because it was the KKPsi centennial, we did offer an extra grant on the KKPsi side, and we are going to follow that up in 2021 with TBS for their 75th anniversary. And we'll have another grant for that in addition to the 4 that we typically offer.
Awesome. That is a lot for alumni to be involved in. That is totally a lot. So are there any awards that are offered by the NED Alumni Association? Or any awards?
Yeah, we do, like I said, we had those monetary grants that we offer. Also, some things I missed, we do offer a luncheon for graduating seniors at convention in our programming. So that's a really good time for graduating seniors to meet the members of the Northeast District Alumni Association. And, on a personal level, we'll have lunch together. KKPsi gets to do a presentation, TBSA gets to do a presentation, and really kind of talk with our membership, talk amongst each other, and really learn what it is to transition into that alumni status from being an active. To really, get to meet us as people, not seeing us as, the people in the back of the room.
Awesome. And I can imagine like that would be a fun time. It would be like your first time, meeting people from the other side, kind of thing. So I bet you that is exciting to actually be a part of. Speaking of that, do you have any stories, any funny stories that you may have from a senior luncheon?
Funny stories from senior luncheon. I will say I've given people time limits before, and they've well exceeded those in giving their presentations. I'm not going to name any names, and I might get an email from one of those organizations afterwards. But we really want to keep the time focused at senior luncheon on having a chance to interact individually, not spelling out every little bitty detail of our organizations. But hey, we're all there and having a good time.
The only story that I could think of was cardboard pizza.
Oh my God.
In Lancaster. It was bad. The pizza was
To follow up on that pizza, one of the high notes one of the times I've been most proud of the district of NED was the Lancaster convention. The Lancaster was a hotel convention, much like this year is going to be in Philly. And we typically budget $500 for our luncheon because we usually order pizza from some local pizza place. We'll get soda and cups and plates and whatnot from a local, wholesale store, BJ's or Costco or whatever. So the cost of a hotel catered lunch well exceeds that $500. I think that convention, it came to about $1,300. So we met, and at this time I was the treasurer. So I was the chief of the money bags at that convention. So at our Friday roundtable meeting, I mentioned this to our membership at the NEDA meeting, and within 24 hours, people in NEDA had donated out of pocket to cover the additional $800 that luncheon had cost. So that way we were not taking away from any of the district's funds or any of the district finances. So that was one of the times I was definitely most proud that we were able to people just open their pockets and were beyond generous in helping making this event happen.
Well, and to also kind of shine on Chris a little bit, this was the same convention that he literally was the NED, he was the NED cash register. So he was taking funds for registration and for everything. And it was one of those things where it just happened. No one was at fault, but he was stellar at stepping up and, all right, let's make it work.
Yeah. So basically there was no host chapter because it was a hotel convention and no one had bid. And the district council had no way to accept funds, whereas NEDA did have a way to accept funds electronically through our PayPal account. So every week I had to cut a check to Di Spiva at the national headquarters and send in a form, and then at the same time send a list of people who had paid these things to then Governor Marie Burley. And I think we went through the tune of something about $16,000 went through the NEDA checking account in that month and a half leading up to convention. And I tried to take a nap, and I got woken up to be the PayPal swipe, because I have a card reader for PayPal, for the TBS Northeast District Pie in the Face fundraiser, so they could take electronic payments for that. So, fool for me for trying to sleep at a convention, but hey.
Yeah. Well, that sounds like a fun time.
Well, but it is, it's a great group of people. So.
Yep, absolutely. Leading up to the centennial this year was the inception of the Max Mitchell grant for NIB, which allowed for $250 grants to be given to participants in the National Intercollegiate Band at National Convention this summer in Stillwater. And this was the first year we've done it. It was actually, I want to say, Mike Lindsay's idea, who's a member of NEDA and currently on the KKPsi AA board of directors. And the primary sponsor for this grant was to be the local alumni association. So the Northeast District Alumni Association, we set a goal for $1,000, which was like their highest recognition tier set by KKPsi. We wound up coming in at $2,000 and being the number one sponsor for this particular program, which was fantastic. And definitely had me shining through the whole convention to have that kind of recognition, and that we were able to pull that off, especially being that it was the first time that we had this program take effect. And I'm looking forward to what we do in 2021 out in Grand Rapids.
Absolutely. And kind of to keep the ball rolling with that is I heard you speak about a few examples of how Alumni Brothers can help, I guess, band programs or band initiatives across the country after graduation. So do you believe that there are more examples out there, or there are more things to do out there for Alumni Brothers after they graduate?
Absolutely. A lot of programs have alumni band programs, and that's one way for a lot of people to come together. I know at UConn, we do have a solid crowd that comes for the UConn Marching Band alumni group. That said, the opportunities out there could be joining an already existing local alumni association, or even helping form one. Outside of district alumni associations, there's a couple other types of LAAs out there that people can join or form. One being regionally based, like Northeast District Alumni Association. It's based on a geographic area. So if you have a few schools clustered in the same area or what have you, could form one of those, or even a chapter specific one. Like if you have a strong base of alumni that want to serve your specific chapter or joint chapter. If you have a TBS at your school, you can look into joining one of those. And again, I'm going to point towards KKPsi as a resource for that, because they oversee any formations of LAAs. NEDA doesn't oversee with that. We're on the same, we are an LAA, just a large one because of the area that we cover. So definitely go to the KKPsi website, find KKPsi, and there's a lot of resources on there, and on how to form different LAA groups.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I know, speaking from a undergraduate myself, we try to put focus, or at least in my chapter, we try to put focus on kind of engaging with alumni and trying to build that gap, or try to encourage undergraduate brothers who will graduate to actually join those alumni associations. So my question would be, do you believe that it is important for undergrads to focus on alumni engagement? And if so, how do you suggest brothers actually do this?
Yeah. Speaking from personal experience, I wouldn't be involved with NEDA if it wasn't for an alumni from my chapter, who some of you guys may know, Eric Morrison, being a NEDA member. He was always engaged with the chapter, coming at district conventions. We all knew him. And he invited me to NEDA meetings. So, I went to graduating senior luncheon back in the day. I won't say when, because I don't feel old. And when I was at my graduation, I was on my phone filling out my NEDA membership. I joined as soon as I could. And here I am, soon XYZ years later, having served on the officer board for a few years and now serving as president. Sometimes just having that personal connection to someone is the best way to, really show them. We can get in front of a crowd and talk at district convention and precinct meetings. And that might engage a few people, but having someone personally say, hey, I think you'd be a great member, you'd be able to contribute to our organization. That's really the best way, that personal touch, that camaraderie, the brotherhood, so to speak, I guess.
Yeah, you actually just closed with what I was thinking about, of having that continuous brotherhood aspect, as far as going from undergraduate to alumni. And like you said, having those alumni brothers who would just put that bug in your ear to say, hey, the work necessarily doesn't stop here, or the brotherhood doesn't necessarily stop here. It's a continuous line, or it's something that's never ending. And honestly, I love that, and I love how
you're only an undergrad for a couple of years, some longer than others, but after that, you're an alumni for a much longer time, and there's no chapter meetings involved. No weekly Sunday nights go on.
See, that's a plus too, huh?
You're appreciated for that.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, one of my final questions would be, as the Northeast District Alumni Association president, is there anything that is offered by the NEDAA or the KKPsi Alumni Association that can actually help brothers with alumni engagement or promoting alumni membership?
Sure. I know within NEDA, we try to offer workshops at convention and whatnot about, transitioning to alumni status. KKPsi offers some similar stuff as well. And also, professional development stuff. How do I write a resume? How do I sit down in an interview? So, and also, if you need a resume reviewed or whatever, we'll have a few alumni that can look at it for you. And maybe we have a member that's in a field that you're looking to go into, maybe has a networking opportunity for you. We're really, any way we can help our active members and our young alumni transition into that alumni status and #adult a little bit better, we're definitely willing to do that. I think I answered your question.
Absolutely, that was an amazing answer, and that answer actually was the main reason that I thought of this whole speaker series, which is to have that kind of mentorship or that kind of sharing of wisdom from alumni to undergraduate brothers. Because I noticed that alumni has done things that we haven't, just because they lived a little longer. So
Yeah, we filed our taxes
like,
a couple times. So let me show you the right way.
yeah,
Basic things. This is what I had trouble with. Here's how you get around that.
exactly, and it will only make our lives easier, and it'll just be quicker for us to fly.
It almost is the same thing as when you're a candidate. You have your big brother, and your big brother's there to give you the tips. This is what I struggled with. Here's how I got through, this part of my membership education process. We want to have that same relationship where we help those weaker performers come to a stronger participation, right?
Absolutely. And I also love the fact that, it isn't just strictly for a certain major or a certain field. Like, there are many brothers from many walks of life or many different concentrations and specializations. So
yeah, right now NEDA's got about 60 members, I want to say, and completely diverse, from chapters up and down the Northeast District and all the different fields. We've got, if we don't know someone, and then beyond that, KKPsi's got thousands, I can't tell you how many members KKPsi has. So definitely the resources out there for, graduating seniors and new alumni. Just reach out, know where to find the resources, know that you can ask for help, and we're definitely here for you.
absolutely. Well, I would just like to say thank you for actually sharing this information and, sharing that wisdom upon the undergraduate brothers. I'm sure I can speak on their behalf in saying that we appreciate it. And we just definitely love what you do.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for having me. Shameless plug. Check out nedaa.org for our website. We have a few of our resources on there, how to get a hold of us. We just want to be able to give back.
Absolutely. I would like to say thank you again. And brothers, this is episode number 3, and there's more to come.